This is going to be your guide to jungling in Pokemon Unite. Now before we get into game, let's go and take a look at Pokemon that can jungle. And much like with laning, I don't think there's any hard rules as to which Pokemon can and cannot jungle. I've seen jungle Eldegoss in my ranked games, and it was one of the better players on my team. So if you know what you're doing and you get the timings down right, you can pretty much take any Pokemon into the jungle because of mechanics. However, there are going to be Pokemon that are much more prevalent and much more powerful than others. As it stands right now, Zeraora and Gengar are just busted, so if they get nerfed, there's going to be more Pokemon that can kind of fit into the jungle. But yeah, Zeraora, Gengar, Absol, these are going to be the main ones. You can see Lucario, Machamp, Talonflame. And the big thing about the jungle is there's a lot of experience to be had there, and you probably realize this very quickly in your games where someone comes out of the middle lane and they're 2 levels above you. That's just because of all the experience. So Pokemon that kind of have a weaker landing and are slower to level up, so Pokemon like Greninja, Cinderace, Charizard, they also want to be in the jungle. That way they can come out, fully evolve really quickly, get to their power spikes, get to the late game as soon as possible, and then be very strong. Or just the Pokemon that have really high damage, high mobility, really good stuff in their kits like that. Zeraora, Lucario, Absol also work really well. But like I said, I think you can take any Pokemon jungle and then find good amounts of success with them. Oh boy, where do we begin with jungling? Because jungling is the most important role in the game. So the biggest thing is practicing. Make sure you do everything perfectly every time, or you kind of like practice to where you can do it as efficiently as possible, as often as possible, because every little disadvantage in the jungle is going to cost your entire team massively. So when you first off, you want to go for Lillipup. Lillipup will move in the direction of Ludicolo. Ludicolo is the first camp that you want to take because it makes you deal extra damage to jungle camps when they're at lower health. Now, Buffalon's kind of weird depending on the Pokemon that you are using to jungle, so I want to wait for him to reset. That way I can get a good Whirlpool right there. And now we are already upgrading all of our moves. We can KO Corphish very quickly. So this also just kind of shows like why every Pokemon can kind of fit into the jungle, because you use X attack, you get Ludicolo. Ludicolo buff makes it to where everything's really easy to KO, and there you go. So you want to do the first clear pretty quickly. This is just actually more of a formality because there would be laning going on, there'd be other things going on. And then you want to make a quick gank towards the lane that you are finishing on. So there are different sides. There is a bot side and a top side, and Ludicolo might be on the top or bottom depending on what side that you have. So there is some weird stuff going on right there. But one thing to note is that the camps respawn very quickly. It's only after a minute, even for the big camps, and they give an insane amount of experience. So you really only have enough time to do a quick little gank towards one lane, and then you need to back as fast as possible so that way you can get all of the experience. Now, some people don't do that, and they can also just kind of like camp a lane and stay in there and wreak havoc on that lane, and that is viable to a degree. There's just a lot of weird stuff that happens. Now also keep note of the abilities. Like as your abilities change, you're going to have different behaviors against Buffalon and Ludicolo. So I use Surf there because I just expected it to be there, but that's not how it is. So you want to just kind of keep clearing, you want to keep that advantage around the map, and then you just want to go and clear out. And then again, that kind of puts us in a position to gank, or you can use this pad. You can use this pad, kind of jump into lane. It does reveal you, so you can see when a Pokemon is jumping over, which means map awareness is key. That way you don't get ganked. And I might be hearing these terms like gank and stuff. Gank just means effectively flanking, or when you get an extra party into the fight. So now if this was a 2v2, it becomes a 3v2. Then you can use that to fight over and contest objectives. Also having the jungler around for the initial Vespiquen fight can be pretty intense, so that could be 2v3, 3v3 stuff right there. And then these Corphish, they spawn at 8 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock, but that's going to get in the way of the Buffalon and Ludicolo takes. And in that short time I was talking, Buffalon and Ludicolo have already spawned. So as a jungler, there's a lot of decisions and there's a lot of weird things going on. So let me restart this and let me slow down some of the things that you can do, because jungling isn't just like a binary one and done kind of thing. Now, a big problem if you're trying to jungle for the first time in any MOBA in Pokemon Unite is that junglers from other games like League of Legends are going to have a massive advantage over you. So they're going to have a lot of different ideas and they're going to just be way better at what they're doing, and that can create a massive imbalance in the game. So again, you want to practice a lot, but one thing I recommend is also like if you're taking eject button over X attack because you already have really fast clear speed or you have a really strong Pokemon, don't flash over the wall. It's stupid. It doesn't do anything. You should be taking Lillipup before these Pokemon spawn anyways, so it doesn't really matter if you do that. And also there's like a weird 3 or 5 second window where you might need that flash to initiate the fight in your top or bottom lane. So now let's talk about the things you can do. So let's say Ludicolo spawns top, I take Ludicolo here, take Buffalon here. Well, now I don't have to take both Corphish to a degree. I can also just immediately go into a lane after I take the closest one. So I'd go this, and then you go bot lane. Now, for the most part, by this point of the game, Audino would already be contested and fought over. That's kind of where, like, depending on your timings, you're setting this one up for when Vespiquen spawns in 3 seconds. So when this spawns, now again, we're looking at 2v3 or 3v3, and the opponents, they have a jungler that's either doing the same thing or they're going to be mirroring you. That way they have the Ludicolo on bottom side, so they're going to be heading to the top lane. And as a laner, you need to understand that the jungler wants to attack you and wants to press an advantage. Now, instead of going for this Corphish on the bottom right, I could have gone in this exact game, Lillipup, Ludicolo, Buffalon, and then cut a corner. It doesn't really take too much time away, it doesn't really cost too much speed. Take this Corphish, and now you're going to end up where the opponent's jungler is ending up if they're just going to be doing the L-shape path. So it's like V, L-shape, meta's still developing, paths are still kind of being figured out. Optimizations on when you take the middle camps, when you back for the red and blue buff. It's all crazy. It's very high level, very technical and complicated stuff. But you need to kind of just be aware. You always need to be proactive. I think that's the biggest thing about being a jungler is you always need to find something to do. And then there's the Salac berries. So Salac berries give you that speed boost, and that helps you like run around for the Corphish. Or there's also a philosophy or just a strategy called Invading. That for the second spawn of Corphish, since you know it's going to be a minute and they're going to be taking it at roughly 9 minutes and 20 or 30 seconds whenever I took this, that's going to be spawning a minute from there. So you can try to take this. That way they don't have access to it, you're denying experience, and it also depends on your allies. If your allies are playing safe, if they don't get killed in the 3v2 and then you take a creep or a camp from the opposing jungler, now you're gaining an advantage, and then you can go and try to farm up more experience. So there's a lot of different things. There's farming heavy jungles, there's ganking heavy jungles, there's a mix of it, there's just roaming. And these are all like concepts that you need to develop just from playing a lot of MOBAs, playing a lot of Pokemon Unite, understanding what you want to do as a jungler, what jungles want to do against you, and it all can't be explained in a video. This is just something that takes a lot of practice. And that's what I mean by practice, practice, practice. Make sure you get that first clear of the 4 camps in the starting jungle, or 5 camps if you're including Lillipup, down really fast, and then you can start to understand the game state. It's like, okay, I'm going to just look towards top lane, maybe not commit to a fight, but if someone shows up, then you're there for the counter gank. So you're countering the opponent's jungle movement. And again, there's so much terminology, there's so much that needs to be understood that it's really hard to just kind of fit into one video. Maybe you decide to kind of leave up the red and blue spawns to make sure that your lane gets Vespiquen. That way everyone's ahead, you're also getting a little bit of experience, or you're trying to secure a kill. Now, my biggest advice as a starting jungler is to not overcommit. If you die, and like let's say I come up for the gank, and then I just overcommit. I try to dive under this goal, I end up dying. That's effectively the worst thing you can do, because now you put yourself behind, and you put other teammates behind, which is very, very bad. And then it's also just kind of like keeping the timings down on when every camp is spawning, not just your jungle camps, not just everything in the mid lane. Fortunately, most things respawn after a minute. This Corphish is going to be 8:45, and then depending on when you're taking it, it's going to be a minute after that. So if you just kind of like go up top side, clear these guys out really quick, go for the back, take another full clear of your camps, and then like come up into other lanes for fighting, then that's also where like the timings are going to come in. Try to re-clear all the Corphish again. It gets kind of wacky, it gets kind of crazy, and that's another thing, like you need to have a heavy mental load, and you need to be very adaptive, that depending on what camps are up or down, where the opponents are going, where the enemy jungler is going, you have to make a lot of decisions on the fly. Oh yeah, we can also talk about items a little bit. I didn't talk about that for my laning guide because I've already done a separate guide for the recommended item builds for every Pokemon. But the jungle is a little different. And a lot of people say, hey, you need Floatstone. It's movement speed, it's also the passive movement speed that gets you around the map sooner. Well, the thing is, if you're always attacking camps, or once you like get into combat during lane, you're going to be in combat, so you're not getting as much passive. But Floatstone is recommended on attack Pokemon. And maybe there's even like some weird things where maybe a few like special attack Pokemon might be able to make use of it. But overall, you want the item that is best for the Pokemon. Auto attacks though are going to be really good, so Muscle Band really nice, especially if you're using Zeraora, Lucario, Garchomp, Absol, Talonflame, yeah, all those guys, you know, most of those Pokemon. And then you do have to kind of like consider what you want to do. For the most part, you don't want any of these scoring items because you're not going to be scoring as much unless you get a good gank and then you KO the opponents and you get an opportunity to score, but that's not guaranteed. You're going to be doing a lot of influence and you're going to be giving up a lot more scoring opportunities because you're not in a lane directly contesting goal 24/7. That's not really your assignment. Now, you can use these items in the jungle, but that's once you've hit like a very high level of mastery and you know you're going to score almost every time. You're going to force a gank or you're going to camp. Camping means just staying in that lane, making it permanent or near permanent 3v2, at least in an efficient way. You can overcamp and then starve yourself out. You don't want to do that, but at the same time, it can be very effective to just kind of really bully out your opponents. And maybe that's just some good advice as to what you're trying to do as a jungler. Try to be as much of a bully as possible. Just be mean to the opponents while also considering and having some consideration for the resource gathering. Again, you don't want to starve yourself out by just like taking experience from your ally laners and then not doing anything when you're trying to gank. Alright, I'll be the first to admit I'm not the best jungler. Even though I've played League of Legends for 10 years, I jungled a little bit, but I never got really into the sweaty pathing and optimization. It's just a completely different mentality. You're just a completely different kind of person. Even though I called mid first, Zeraora wants to jungle. I don't know how this is going to go. I'm just going to hopefully get the video out of this and see what happens. But yeah, we're just going to do our thing. Also, I think as a jungle, it's kind of like a dick move if you go and try to take a little bit of experience off this leash. Don't do that. It just puts people behind. So, gonna hit this. What we got? All right, and nice. Looking good. Looking good. Just a little behind, but not too bad on that initial spawn. Because I think like if the jungler tries to take a little bit of that experience, you can't get the double level 3. So a lot of weird things just happen. There's enough experience in the jungle. So we get most of the Buffalo damage, if not all of it. Super fast clear right here. And yeah, that's going to be a quick core fish. It looks like they're taking top side. They can do that. Like that's again with like the L-shaped jungling and the cross map jungling and no one really knowing what they're doing at this state. I can just kind of be here to help out with the experience for a second. Ooh. Oh, they in here? All right. Let's set this up then. They intentionally taking a 1v3. And we get something out of it. All right. Oh, there's their auras coming back. Oh, the knockup. Oh, that's a flash. Once the flash happens, it's over. We just got a massive advantage. And just like that, it's almost time for that second clear to happen. So even though they took my camp, they are losing a little bit. That'll happen. And like I said, it's not going to be too long. It's not good to be waiting around, but we got that kill so early that we're just going to have to do our thing. So yeah, like, if you just understand the game, like if you have a good amount of basic game knowledge and just like skilled in general, you can just use your map awareness and try to figure out what the best, like what would you want as a laner? What do you wish the jungler was doing at that time? So, did not mean to hit the returning to base. Now we can see where people might be going because once again, here to influence lanes. Bot lane's trying to push up for a steal, which does make them vulnerable to Zeraora. I'm going to come down and help them. Oh, ooh, that's a pick onto Mr. Mime, potentially. That's a flash. My job here is done. I can just... The best hope I have right now is that Zeraora doesn't give it away. Top lane is feeding, so top lane needs a lot of help. And that's what you're here for. You're here to give it to them. You're here to save losing lanes. And unlike League of Legends, it's actually a lot more doable. It's like you just CC block people. You just catch them off guard. You just ruin their day. Except when it's 1v2 and Zeraora comes in, and Zeraora is super strong. But if we look at the levels, not behind compared to Zeraora, which is a good start. And, oh, he's going for it. Alright. I don't like this. I don't like this at all! Oh, your teammates can screw you over by pushing up. If he gets the double kill, though, I'm down with that. Not the most ideal. And now that means bot lane's kind of set up. Zeraora, if you are Zeraora in this situation, it doesn't matter if you're behind. Pretty much also top's gone. Like, you don't have any right being top because you're going to throw it away. Zeraora is good at taking Dreadnaw regardless. So I have the blue right now. I'm still on timing. Still keeping as much awareness depending on whatever's going on for that bot lane. And yeah, Zeraora ganked. Our bot lane didn't respect the gank enough. And there's only so much I can do in a 1v3. But if Zeraora came bot, he could have gotten triple kill there and set us up for Dreadnaw. So now that everyone else is dead, I guess I just have to kind of focus on farming around here and then keep an eye out for Dreadnaw. Now I do have blue buff. Oh, that's also pick potential right there. Boom. Big. Nah. Yeah, maybe? Like, this isn't the best. There's a double kill top because our Cinderace is actually good. We still have to deal with Zeraora, so... Ooh, okay. Weirdness happening. Garchomp is back. Goodbye, Zeraora is ridiculous at taking Dreadnaw. But if they just kind of overexpose themselves and die, yeah, that's kind of cool too. That wall, that Mr. Mime's good. If we had Zeraora down here, it would be super free, super easy. There we go. That's a knock. That's a double knock, and that's a changed game, kinda. Goodbye's still here. So yeah, that's the thing about camping. Like, me and Zeraora, we're just here. That's just what's happening. I have my Unite move, which also makes it a lot easier to go for Dreadnaw. Cinderace picking up the slack on the spawn, because I've been here for like a minute, 2 minutes. A minute and a half. We're all sharing experience pretty well. No one else is really behind. And also, it's not bad to steal, quote-unquote, steal experience from your lane as long as you get Dreadnaw, because then everyone gets a massive amount of experience. Zeraora just has no idea what he's doing, unfortunately. Not enough good prioritization. Uh-oh. I was about to say, like, Ninetales using Unite move is something. Ooh. Now they have theirs. Oh, man, using this inside of the Ninetales is going to be really strong. No, they don't get to come by. No, there's no extra gank stuff happening here. Ooh. Ooh! He just ran into it. Nice. Mr. Mime's... Yep, Mr. Mime's ridiculous. Not enough team down here. Like, I think that's all 5 of them that have been down here now because of that. Ninetales, those cooldowns. Oh my god, squeaking away. Still need to get that Dreadnaw. And I can stay in this fight. Like, there's... Backing doesn't do any... yeah, Slowbro can. Oh, wow. Ooh, that's a good pick. I don't know why that Surf went in that direction, but that's okay. This is rough and crazy. Zeraora's back here, yeah, that's just the priority. Oh, that's a huge pick. But he gets to zoom away. See, that's what I mean, like, jungle's weird and there's no real 100% way of describing it, and Zeraora has refused to come bot to help with Dreadnaw. And now their whole lane is down here. I do not have my Unite move, which is bad. Garchomp getting his Unite move would be awful, and no team play. 3v5 down here. Sometimes team's bad. Sometimes just accept it that way. Can't do anything about it. Those are fairly impossible to win unless there's a massive Unite move disadvantage. And because of that, Dreadnaw is going to be given up. I guess the consolation prize is Rotom, but that's way worse. We lose massively in that trade. Fortunately, in the current state of the game, Zapdos is the most important thing, so as long as I do not press ZL until a minute from now, we can get the Zapdos steal and then win. We are just a wall of hateful CC. That's nice. That's helpful. Zeraora should not be taking that because my Unite move is game-changing on a Zapdos steal, so I would like to have the bonus damage on the Zapdos. Also, he's like refused to be a team player, so I don't see how he's going to help with blue buff. Zapdos is on attacker, he wants red. So just kind of like, again, being adaptive, thinking about what needs to be done. Now we're going to see where it all goes. Nope, Zeraora is griefing by just not being here at all. Oh my goodness. Well then, it's where things get extra weird because now we're here, they're dead, I used my Unite move. Garchomp, unless he used it and we weren't paying attention, has that, nah, this is where it gets stolen. Ah, oh wait, a lot of us are alive. We secured it, cool. Game's just weird. Game is weird, yeah, and in this case, Ninetales doing the right thing by ignoring everything to score. Slowbro needs to go bot, because I think he's really slow, and he's not going to be able to make it to center. Let's see if people have any IQ. Okay, Cinderace is picking it up, fine. There might be enough here. And my goal is to defend goal. I'll just go here. There's no like weird center play. Like I sit here, Zeraora does not go anywhere. He just needs to go top and then we win 100%. See, now Zeraora's gonna try to split it. He's gonna try to... Oh, what is happening? Do you think I was AFK here? I guess he does have KO potential on me, but not like that. Here's the thing. We are 100% winning after that Zapdos, so our Zeraora has no right to be trying to score another 100 points. It does literally nothing for us. Ninetales is actually staying in base for the correct decision. Yep, there we go. Get out of here. Get out of my face. Are you really dive air slash? Alright, they got scared off, but bot lane died, so Ninetales is there for the jump, and I need to go and back that up as much as possible. Did Ninetales end up jumping short and, like, missing that? Uh-oh. We cannot die here, and we can also not get disrupted because they're going to run it into the base. I don't know why Cinderace is backdooring. I don't know why any of this is happening. Like, it was winnable. It was 100% won, especially... Oh, I thought that was a score shield. But me stopping that might save it. So yeah, this is Jungle Guide, and now just basic Don't Be Crap Guide. So even though it was more comfortable, you don't need to risk anything. We got the Zapdos, that's all you need to win. That's jungling. You run around, and then you just try to create a numbers advantage. Finally.